Now, last night, Ireland began their World Cup campaign with an away game against Serbia. It was very difficult for Stephen Kenny right from the get-go because so many players were missing. The two main goalkeepers we have, Darren Randolph and Caoimhín Kelleher. John Egan, very, very experienced and very good player, playing for Sheffield United. James McCarthy, Jack Byrne, Harry Arthur, Adam Ida, who's one of the most promising of our younger players, Conor Harahan, Callum O'Dowda and Kevin Long. Those were the list of players missing through injury from a squad that is already one of the least experienced that we've ever had going into a World Cup qualifying series. And I'm joined now by John Giles to talk about the game. And John, Stephen has shown great courage in the way he's approached this job. I think both of us agree that the style of play, the way he wants us to play is right. It's brave, and we would both be, I think, supportive of him, which doesn't mean there weren't criticisms I've got to make and have made about last night. But first of all, what was your impression, John, of the performance?
Well, I thought we started very well. I mean, we were about a team for 20 minutes, and I thought this is looking good.
Yeah.
But against the run of play, they scored.
Yeah.
I mean, as we know, which obviously changes the game. And unfortunately, young Mark Travers in goal, I thought had a poor game. I mean, even at the first goal, when the Serbian player got through, there was the angle was bad. But and then the second half he was lobbed, which he was out of play. So that you can't afford to give goals away like that. I wouldn't blame him for everything on it. But they started well, but as the game went on, Serbia came into it, and they made a good substitution at half time. Mitrovic from Fulham came in and scored two of the goals. And we made a little bit of a comeback. But overall, I think I wouldn't complain about the result. I think Serbia deserved to win it over the 90 minutes.
Okay, now Stephen made some structural changes, tactical changes, if you like, before the game. He decided to go with three at the back to enable him, I think, to play Seamus Coleman and Matt Doherty in the same team, and five in midfield and two up front. I thought that was a mistake, John. I thought he made the mistake because he wanted to try and get Doherty and Coleman in the same team.
Yeah,
I think I'd like your opinion on it. Yeah. The strength of Ireland over even the worst times in recent years has been we don't give goals away. Strong back four. For example, Coleman right back. Say Stevens left back. Egan and Shane Duffy and Darren Randolph. That's your back five. They know each other. They've played with each other. They're experienced players. They're mostly playing in the Premier League, although Darren Randolph is in and out, but he's an outstanding goalkeeper for us. That's us safe as houses at the back. And I thought that Stephen made a mistake in changing that for a number of reasons. One is he had a new goalkeeper in goal, Mark Travers. He's only a young fella. He's playing for Bournemouth reserves. And you had a new partnership at the heart of the defence. Dara O'Shea from West Brom, I think, is a good player, and Clark. So your goalkeeper and your two centre-halves, that triangle is huge in my mind for any team. And to mess with it, especially with a novice goalkeeper, I thought that was a mistake. What do you think of that?
Well, I don't think he had any choice in it, Eamon. Randolph was injured, Egan was injured, Duffy hasn't been playing well, I think, as it for Celtic.
Well, he hasn't played for 5 weeks, and he has had a nightmare since he went up to Celtic.
He's had a bad time there. But that was, as you say, that has been the backbone of the team in not conceding goals.
Well, here's the alternative. Sorry, you say he didn't have any option. I think he did. Play Coleman right back, play Duffy and Clark in the middle, and play Egan at left back. There's your back five.
Yeah, well, Stevens was in that, Eamon, but Randolph is injured, as we know. Could you play Duffy, having not played for a few weeks? You know.
Well, I would have played him because I think.
That's a choice. I
think experience. Well, no, yours is the view that most people will want to hear rather than mine. The reason I'm putting it up to you is I think Shane Duffy is a very experienced player. He's Ireland's captain. He can't have, gone backwards that much playing for Celtic. And he'd bring experience in that I thought we needed. And also for set pieces, he'd be a factor. Because I didn't think we defended set pieces well. We didn't have a dominant player in the box to go and win the first ball. And I thought from set pieces 4, we weren't very dangerous at all.
Well, it could have played Duffy. I can understand how he did that. But Randolph is injured. Egan is injured, Eamon.
Yeah.
That's Duffy is dodgy. So that's 3 out of the back 5. I agree that the back 5 were the best part of our team.
Yeah.
We weren't conceding goals. But there were dramatic changes there in it. I mean, the goalkeeper is injured. Egan is injured. Duffy is dodgy. So I can understand why he did it. I can understand your point of view as well in actually playing Duffy, having not played for a few weeks and having a bad time at Celtic. But certainly Egan was out. Two of the major players actually were out.
Well, okay. What about the 3 at the back? Because I think that featured in 2 of the goals. But you don't.
I don't like 3 at the back, Eamon. I mean, if you have the fullbacks that we have, which is Doherty. Well, Doherty's a wing back. Coleman, Stevens, and the back 5 that we had when the players were fit was ideal. But don't forget, the manager made when his first match left Coleman out and put Doherty in the team.
Yeah, which was a mistake. I think so.
I think so. Yeah, but definitely with the two big players out of the back 5 were very, very important to us, which was Duffy and
Randolph.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, that was the best part of our team. We conceded in the previous 8 matches, I think. I mean, we only conceded 5 goals.
Yes. No, we're rock solid.
We conceded 3 goals. Yes, the goalkeeper was definitely. I know he's only a young lad. He's only come into the team, but he wasn't Randolph, and neither of the back 4 is Duffy at his best. So
yeah,
they were big decisions that he had to make, or very, very unlucky to have players injured or not playing well in recent times.
Right. Now, I'll go to one more negative, or at least query, before we come to the positives. And there were positives, and they were brave and strong positives. Jeff Hendrick out. Robbie Brady out. James McLean out. Shane Duffy out. Now, John, I'm not sure about our game management and the way when we took the lead and even when we were in the second half of 1-1, these guys, they didn't look. I mean, Tadic is a very, very good player, and Mitrovic hasn't been in the team at Fulham, but he took his goals very well last night. What about the fact that so many of the experienced players, like Robbie Brady, for example, and James McLean, what about them?
I would always have McLean in the team, Eamon.
Yeah.
I would have had. Now, this is. I don't want to be too wise after the event, but this is what I think. I would have McLean in the team, and I would have Horgan in the team.
I would have played Robbie Brady. I would have played him for his experience, and I would have been tempted to play James McLean as well. But I understand what Stephen is doing. He's actually going for players that he's worked with at underage level, that he knows, and I did feel there was periods, particularly in the second half, where we needed a bit of experience, put foot on the ball, just keep it a bit longer, and move the Serbs around, make them work a bit harder, and we didn't do that.
No, well. Again, I mean, I like McLean. I'd always have McLean in the team.
Yeah,
I would probably have Brady in the team. Horgan played well for us, so there'll be a few there, long up front.
Yeah,
for example. So I can understand where Stephen's position. Again, they haven't played for a good while. He's played 8 matches, but that's not an awful lot of matches in football.
No.
And it's always a matter of opinion, Eamon. We're only giving our opinion on it. But I would agree. In the second half, when we needed somebody to get a hold of the ball, we didn't have it.
No, and we
didn't have anybody to hold it up front. Really, you know.
Jason Malumbi's a player I like, but he didn't play well last night. I think he's on loan at Preston. He got taken off very early in the second half, and of course, Aaron Connolly went down with cramp, and I looked at the clock; it was 64 minutes or something.
Exactly. I can't make that out. I mean, we both like Connolly. I know. I think he's a good player, but I don't. Maybe he hasn't played for a while. I mean, he just didn't seem to be match fit. But to go down with cramp after 60 odd minutes, is not a good sign.
No,
Definitely not.
But we did press high up the field. We pressed, and I thought we were brave in that. And I think that does take it out of your legs if you're doing it. And Connolly was the front man doing it. Malumbi is a hard worker. He's just not on form. One player who did impress was Brown. I thought he was really good. He scored a goal, of course. But he also set the goal up with a lovely pass. And I thought his play was pretty good. He's playing for Preston. And I thought he was very good. He was a revelation, really.
Yeah, he's played before, Eamon. Yeah, he's good. He's a good player. I think Stephen is still at the stage where he's still looking for his best team, Eamon. We've had a long break, haven't played for a long time, so I can understand all the things there. I can say, anyone, you can say, well, I'd have him and him, and it's very difficult for him. They did make a good start, but unfortunately fell away, and the goalkeeper didn't have a good game.
Yeah,
let's put it that way. When they started off, it was bright and he was willing to go at the opposition. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah,
there was no sitting back and waiting for something to happen. But we didn't have the players good enough to maintain a good start, Eamon.
I mean, let's look at the first goal we scored was a really good goal.
Yeah.
A very, very good goal indeed. And, he kind of, there was intent, there was good football. Brown, who scored a goal, started the move, and Callum Robinson delivered a really good cross, John. He's a good player. He's at West Brom. Big Sam doesn't like him. He's dropped him because he plays a bit too much football. But Brown, Robinson, they were very good, I thought. I thought Cullen played well in midfield. And one thing about the whole team was they weren't afraid, John, weren't they?
No, well, I think that's what Stephen is good at. I don't think he believes in sitting back for sure. I mean, I think he wants them to go out and play and express themselves and do all the things that win you matches. But you have to have the players to do it. And unfortunately, after the start, say a half hour, I mean, we fell out of it and they became the better team. We didn't have enough good players out there to maintain the start that we made.
No, and they had Tadic. I mean, we saw him in Southampton playing in the Premier League. He looked very comfortable. Yeah. He's at Ajax now. He's a very, very good player indeed. And this fellow Vlahovic, who scored the first goal, he's playing for Fiorentina, who are struggling actually in Serie A. But he scored 12 goals this year in Serie A, which takes some doing. And he looked like a very good player.
We don't have anybody like that.
No.
To score the goals in a match when you need to do it. But I must say that you can't give goals away as well, Eamon. And I did think the keeper gave a couple away.
I did, yeah. The first goal,
nobody can afford to do that.
No, the first goal, when he should have been moving forward 2 or 3 steps to close that angle down, he actually was he was backing up when Vlahovic stuck it in the net. Now that was
made it easy for him. I mean, he made it easier for him. Maybe we don't know. Maybe Randolph would have scored it, but definitely he was very much at fault for the chip goal.
Yeah, well, he was for the first goal as well, and the chip goal. I don't know why he was so far out.
No,
we were talking immediately after the goal. I wasn't sure how far out of his ground he was. Even though he was out of his ground.
Long way out. I mean, and we didn't have it wasn't as if somebody was. They had the ball.
Yeah, but this is where the 3 at the back comes in as well. I mean, Mitrovic was in a load of space, and it was Tadic who played it out to him. Mitrovic was in a load of space where you'd normally have a left fullback. There was no one there, John.
No, we didn't do. I don't like 3 at the back myself, Eamon. And as we said early on in the programme, I mean, what the big part of the team up to this particular match, was the back 5. Only gave 5. I think it was 5 goals away in the 8 matches. Now that was a totally different defensive situation yesterday, and not for the better.
Would you agree with me that the reason Stephen might have been tempted down that road is he did want to play Seamus Coleman and Matt Doherty in the same team?
Yeah, well, that's a problem for him, Eamon.
But one of the problems is I'm doing more talking here than I should be. I'll stop in a minute. I
wouldn't have played 3 at the back. That's where I would agree with you. I don't agree with 3 at the back, and it was definitely making this a position for Seamus Coleman. Seamus Coleman, from what I've seen with the Irish team or Everton, has never actually played in that position.
No, and it takes
away.
So
I think you've got to stick to as near as you can to the situation where we weren't losing goals. We could do nothing about the goalkeeper. You could certainly play Seamus at right back, and another centre half with Clark was in there as well. Dunphy, I can understand why he left him out. I don't think he's having a good time at Celtic, and he hasn't played for a good few weeks. But I still would have played 4 at the back.
Yes, and I tell you why. Another reason, this Doherty Coleman thing has to be sorted. An awful lot of what Seamus does, he's a great defender, but he when we have the ball and we're attacking, he's herring up the line. He's dangerous. He's aggressive. He's much more likely to trap the opposition in their half of the field if he's up there anyway. If you play him in the back 3, John, he ain't going anywhere.
No, I would agree. I mean, I don't agree with the back 3. Right. I mean, if you look at it there, if it was possible, you would have gone with Randolph and Duffy if he's fit.
Yeah.
Right. Clark probably, and Stevens. That's basically the team that was doing exceptionally well. So okay.
Well, Egan and Duffy had a good partnership.
Yeah.
Both really Premier League quality players, and that makes the opposition's task very, very hard.
Very difficult, especially with Randolph a goal. But again, I can understand the Duffy situation, and Egan wasn't fit anyway. So I think that there was enough drastic change there to stay in the back 4 instead of changing it completely and bringing Doherty in to I think more or less to accommodate the situation with Doherty and Coleman. I wouldn't have done that. I personally wouldn't have done that. But then again, it's easy for us to say what we would have done after the event. But that's what I think would have. I think I would have stayed as near to the back 5 as I possibly could.
I didn't think Doherty played well last night, John. He's not having a good time at Spurs. In fact, he's not even in the team. In fact, on Sunday night when they played Aston Villa, he wasn't even. Well, he was away, but he hasn't been in the Tottenham team very much,
no.
John. And I think whilst he was good at Wolves, he didn't have any responsibilities to defend, really. He just ghosted up the touchline. But that's something I think, more or less agree on.
Yeah, well, he's a wing back, Eamon. You know, wing backs that's really, and he's very, very good at it. When he was playing in the Wolves team,
yeah,
he was very good at what he did because that's what they asked him to do. And this is when I was surprised with Stephen when he was making the changes when he first came in. He had Doherty at right back and James Coleman out of the team.
Yeah,
right. And there's a big difference there. The back five were doing well in not conceding goals, and Seamus Coleman is a full back.
Yeah,
Doherty is a wing back.
Yeah,
They're two different types of players altogether. So with the situation changed, it was changed dramatically because of the injuries to goalkeeper and Dunphy not playing like he has been playing, and Egan injured. So he was going to make changes, but I think it would have been easier or simpler to keep as many of the back five as you possibly could. And that would have meant Coleman at right back and the four across the back. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
But if you're going to try and accommodate players, it's very difficult to do, Eamon, because you're changing the whole setup, really.
Yeah, I'm just looking at my paper. You need a long list of paper to look at the players that weren't available. And for one other positive, John, we looked comfortable on the ball all through the match. We passed it. Yeah. We supported the man on the ball. We got it back. There was a lot that was really good that Stephen has inculcated into this team over the period. He's had 9 matches now. It's been a real rough ride for him for various reasons, but he has got courage, John.
No, he wants to play him. There's no doubt about it, and he wants to be constructive in the way that we're playing.
Yeah,
and it's still early days, despite the fact. I mean,
yes, it
first
is.
of all, he had 8 matches, and then a big gap, a huge gap.
Yeah.
in between those matches. So he's basically starting from scratch again because players have got injured, players are out with bad form. So and he does want to do. I believe he wants to do the right things. But again, like with the goalkeeper yesterday, I mean, they were playing well, but you can't give goals away. And I think he was responsible for at least 2 of the goals.
Oh, he was, no question about it.
So that's, you can't afford to do that. You see, when Randolph was playing and Dunphy was playing, we were giving nothing away.
No.
And we weren't scoring goals either.
Yeah.
We weren't at the back, we were giving nothing away.
Yes.
Yesterday, we gave at least 2 goals away.
Now, players that weren't available last night who have to come back, Randolph and Caoimhín Kelleher, who's at Liverpool, and it looked playing for. He's played for Liverpool, had to play for them a few times recently. He looks very good and very competent. John Egan, Sheffield United, very, very good player indeed. There's Harry Arter. I like Harry Arter. I think he's a good digger in midfield, and I think he'd be well able to play. The other player I like a lot is this Adam Ida. He's a centre forward. He's a very, very good player. We saw him playing. He played in a couple of friendlies. I'm not sure if he played in a competitive match. Callum O'Dowda, I like. He's got something going for him. Not so mad about Harahan. He's, well, maybe not. But there's a lot to build on. But he has had shocking luck. You've been in that job, John, and you were in it for a long time, for 7 years. But so you know how lonely and how tough it is. Stephen has got a very good press here today, a very positive reaction to the way we tried to play, and the fact also that we came back and got the second goal, which made the scoreline look a bit more respectable. So a lot of the pressure he was under, and the people who wished to put him under pressure, that's not quite as vicious now as it could be. So he's going to be okay. And in this group, we're with Portugal, Azerbaijan, Luxembourg, and Serbia. Now, we really need to finish second. I'd give us every chance with a full squad to select from of beating Serbia at home. Would you?
Yeah, yes, definitely. When we could have beat it, it's all ifs and buts after the match, Eamon. But it's the first time we've conceded 3 goals since Stephen, I think, has taken over. We
Yeah.
haven't been conceding goals. So,
No.
that's usually your starting point. And that was the basis, the basic stuff that he did. And then the important part then was obviously to get a grip of the ball and score goals. So he's taken a step back, really, in that way, in defensive, and a step forward in going forward yesterday. So we're got to get the combination together. Obviously, it makes a winning team. But he's not scared of it, that's for sure. Like, Stephen wants players to go out and play. There's no doubt. And that's encouraging, because they did play yesterday. They've got a few players, I think, that could come in that on the subs bench yesterday. They say Brady didn't come in. McLean came in. I would have Brady and McLean in the team, and they can do what I think Stephen wants to do going forward. I think Horgan has a chance of doing it. And one of our old boys, Shane Long, came in yesterday. Probably as good as anything that we've got, Eamon. So there's still hope there, and Stephen is new in the job. He still has things to sort out, and the gap in between matches definitely hasn't helped him. That's for sure.
No. Now, the good news is I think we can beat Serbia in Dublin. I think if we keep playing the way we're playing, it's really the way we should be playing, and we have the players. The players appear to have bought into it, but we do need our best players. We do need our best goalkeeper. We do need Shane Dunphy back on form. We need John Egan back, who wasn't available last night. The good news is Serbia play Portugal on Saturday, and Portugal struggled, John, to beat Azerbaijan last night, 1-0. So I don't know where our friend Ronaldo was. The bad news is Portugal play us on the 1st of September in Portugal. And that will be a very, very tough game for us. But on Tuesday night, they go to Serbia. I'd fancy Portugal to beat Serbia, John, on Tuesday night, which would be a good result for us in terms of us qualifying.
Yeah.
I know you don't like speculation about these things.
Well, you have to look at it, Eamon, but as footballers, you never know what's going to happen. Over the years, as we've known. But I think from our point of view and Stephen's point of view is, get your own house in order first, Eamon, and then we look at the results after that. And Stephen is still in the process of getting his house in order, really. And what we hope for is that he's better luck with the injuries that we've had so far in the opening match.
And just your assessment, John, about how long he needs, how difficult it is when you're only, getting your players every couple of months, how difficult it is to start from scratch in terms of putting a team together, which is really what he's doing. It can be very, very difficult, can't it? It's a hell of a job when you don't see the players for weeks, months even, and then you have to get your act together very, very quick.
Yeah, well, he was doing that, Eamon. But in football, they say it's a long time since they played the last match, and we had a settled back five.
Yes.
That hasn't happened. Through injuries and Duffy and whatever different circumstances. That's a big change from what he had in the basis of what he was doing. So hopefully we get the injuries right and gets the Randolph back and all the players back that were doing that. Then he can go to the back four or back five that he had.
Yeah.
So it was circumstances that he had to do what he did, but it's all time and patience and going with Stephen in what he's actually trying to do. It's still early days.
Yeah, and it's good what he's trying to do. It's good. It's the right way to play the game, and it's brave.
Yeah, it is. I like what he's trying to do, and it's brave to do it. And he just needs. I think he hasn't had any criticism for this particular match, which is good. So it's a question of going with him and giving him the chance to do what he needs to do. And I think it's just patience and going with Stephen to do what he wants to do and have the players to do it.
Okay, well, I'm very grateful to you for joining us this morning. The next time, I'll let you have a say.
I've
And
said it. I've said what I wanted to say, Eamon. That's all I'm bothered about.
I know. Okay. So we'll talk on Monday, John, and thank you very much for joining us. That's John Giles, who had that job, a bed of nails, for 7 years, but he was able to avail of the talents of people like Liam Brady and all kinds of wonderful players we used to have back in the day.